Hey there everyone, this is Lucas Risotto, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. This video is going to be completely unscripted, mostly because I'm really out of time, because I'm working on a new game, and this stuff is time consuming. But I really wanted to talk about this. So today, the Oculus Quest finally released. It's the first mobile standalone 6.0 headset. It's really exciting stuff. But what was really exciting me was actually the new Star Wars game that they were releasing officially for the Quest. That is Star Wars Vader Immortal. Now, I've been a really big Star Wars fan since like the 90s, which is when I grew up. I used to play, some of the first games I played were actually Star Wars games, so it did play a very important role in my life. But before Vader Immortal was out, my expectations were actually very low. The main studio behind this is Industrial Light and Magic, and I haven't really enjoyed the stuff they've been working on. I didn't like Star Wars The Void Experience, which they hyped up into oblivion. It just felt kind of cheesy and fan servicey, and it just didn't do it for me. And I didn't really like the stuff they were doing in AR, as you'll find out soon when I released my next video about it. So my expectations were low, and going into it, I was expecting it to suck. But I can tell you that it doesn't. And I actually really like it. Vader Immortal is very well made. Now, it's not perfect, as we're going to talk about it here, but it got me the highs that I wanted, and it surprised me in some ways. It seems like Industrial Light and Magic is learning from their mistakes and is actually making content that is engaging. So I got a list of things that I want to talk about. And first, let's just give you a sense of the premise. So in this game, you and your robotic partner, you are running away from the Empire and you get captured. And then Darth Vader, for some unknown reason connected to your bloodlines, recruits you for a mission. And this is where the story begins. Now, I don't want to give any more spoilers because there's actually some interesting things that happen. And let's talk about the gameplay, and I'll come back to the story in a bit. So gameplay consists mainly of 4 things. Number 1 is listening to what's happening around you and just like paying attention to the story that unfolds. Lots of hacking puzzles, but with analog machines. Like every now and then you have to unlock a door, so you have to grab a tool, put it inside the lock, rotate it, pull levers, buttons, cartridges. And I mean, this might not sound fun, but it is. It feels like you're hacking, even though you have no idea what you're doing, just pressing buttons and pushing levers. They designed it very well, so it's very intuitive. So you feel like you know what you're doing. So it's like, oh, pull lever, press button, remove cartridge, put it here, rotate this thing. And you're not really thinking about it, you're just doing it because it feels like the right thing to do. And it works out. And it feels good, and you feel smart. And those are actually way more fun than I thought they were gonna be. I didn't expect to be having fun with like the unlocking puzzles as much as I did. Now, the big draw for many people when it comes to this game is lightsaber battles. And those are also well made. I was really surprised how good it felt. They designed it in some really interesting ways to, you don't have the sense of physical feedback. You can't hit another sword and clash it because we don't have this in VR yet. But they designed it in such a way that whenever you hit another sword, both of your swords freeze in the air and it feels like a hit. And I don't know why, it just does. And the combat feels very good. And it's a mixture of you dueling with other robots, and you can deflect hits as well as hit them yourselves. Sometimes you're going to be fighting with enemies at a distance in which they're going to be shooting you, and you'll be deflecting the shots back to them. Now, the game helps you a lot. The game is very forgiving. You don't need to position your lightsaber in any particular way for the laser shots to reflect back to the target. If you deflect 1 or 2 shots, the game will automatically make your shot line up with the enemy and hit them right away. So the game is trying to be as easy and accessible as possible. And you actually don't die in this game. If you get hit, the screen gets red and there's a sound. But you can open your arms, just like go full on Jesus mode, and get shot as many times as you want, and you won't die. You can turn off your lightsaber and just get hit by the robots, and you won't die. And you can drop off a ledge, and you won't die. And this actually brings me to an interesting point. This is not really a game, it's an interactive narrative. There are moments that are very gamey and are highly interactive, and there's some gameplay bits, but if you're here for the world and for the story and to see these things unfold. And the interactions serve to just make you feel like you're a part of the world more than anything else. There's no fail state, there's no XP bars. This is really about going into this world, becoming a character, and seeing a story unfold. But this does mean that this game may not be for everyone. This is not like the Old Republic or like a real complex game. It's more of a story. And I like it, but not everyone might be into it. And so we talk about puzzles and the lightsabers, and there's also some climbing platform sections, which are nice. They add some variety to the gameplay. You're climbing a bunch of pipes with your fellow robot, and there's some nice character moments as you're doing those things too. The writing was actually quite well done. And which brings me to the story. Now, I was really surprised, and I was really happy with some things that they did. Most of the game is just like serviceable. But in this game, they're actually developing Darth Vader as a character, which I did not anticipate at all. I thought they were gonna make Darth Vader just like, oh look, it's Darth Vader, he's scary, and that was it. But they actually gave him depth. They are giving him a reason to do the things that he's doing, and they're very personal. And I was surprised because you get to see Darth Vader, I think, in his most vulnerable state since Revenge of the Sith, which was really interesting, and I didn't expect them to do that. And this is what I want Star Wars to do. I don't want them to just give us like high octane action, but I want us to develop the world and the characters and show us things we haven't seen before. And Vader Immortal does this, and I really enjoyed it for it. Now, your character kind of sucks, the character you're supposed to be, because I don't know exactly who you are. They do imply that there's a mystery with you and your bloodline. But, you know, people keep telling you what to do, and you're just going along with it. Your character never really takes initiative, but that's also in the way that the game is designed, right? So you're just there, and you're like, okay, my robot told me to do this thing, so I'm going to do it. And if you want to break the game, you can break the game pretty easily. If you take your lightsaber and you start waving it around like this at enemies, you can hit them 1,000 times and they will still keep going. They will react in some really strange ways, which shows that for you to enjoy this game, you need to surrender yourself to it. You need to be like, I'm gonna play along with you, game. I'm gonna like do this little dance that you want me to do, and I'm not gonna try to break you. And that's actually the most enjoyable way to have the experience. If you try to break it, you will, because it's not perfect. And there's some technical issues as well. The game crashed for me about 5 times in my 1 hour long session. And this wasn't just a crash of the game, it was actually the whole system. I had to restart the quest multiple times to play throughout. So it's a little bit unstable right now, but I'll chalk it up to just, you know, it's the week of the release and technical problems always happen. But the only thing that I really disliked about this game is the thing they have with user placement. Now, every now and then the game is going to completely blank out your vision if you're moving around and tell you, go back to where you were. You're out of the play area. Even if you're not out of the Oculus play area, it will just freak out every now and then and tell you to go to the spot it wants you to be in. And that felt like happened a lot. It interrupted the game multiple times, telling me to move to a different place. And I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you taking me out of the experience? Everything's fine. I'm in my play area. I'm not going through any walls. But the game kept doing that. And I'm not sure why. It might be a bug. But, you know, it was something that annoyed me. But do I recommend this? Yes. I really like what they did. It's not perfect, and the interactive bits are fun. Now, everything that you've seen here when it comes to interaction has been done in other games and has been done better. But they combine all of it here and they add the Star Wars flavor to it. So the puzzles have the look and feel of Star Wars. The combat, it's, you know, sword combat, but with a lightsaber, so you feel powerful. The sound is also very good, and it's all for $10. Now this is a 3-episode series, so the total of it's probably going to be $30. But I think it's worth the money, and they actually have some bonus modes as well. It's not just the story mode and that's it. They have a room where you can practice lightsaber combat. So if you want to do just lightsaber combat, you can do that. And it's a cool addition, and I'm glad that they did it. Now, the story does last 40 minutes, and that was the main driver for me, and I was surprised. I'm glad that they did it well. I'm glad that they used this opportunity to show us a new side to Darth Vader, and I'm glad that they executed the interactions well. It's not perfect, but it's a huge improvement over the other stuff that Industrial Light and Magic has been doing, and I'm really glad it exists. So I recommend that you play it. I also recommend that you get the Oculus Quest. It's a really good device, although it's a little bit fragile. I want to see if this is going to happen to more people in the next coming days. And this is my first video in which is completely unscripted and unedited, and I would love to know if you enjoy this, because if you do, I can do more of it. I'm very short on time. I'm working on a number of projects right now, and your feedback is really appreciated. So if you like this, leave a like, comment below, subscribe to this channel, and you can hang out with us in our community on Discord and Patreon. There's links in the description below. But overall, Vader Immortal, quite surprised. I'm glad it exists as a Star Wars fan, and I want to see more. Bye.